Here it is, my LVO recap, Life on the Middle Tables. So here's the army list I decided to take. I went with Iron Hands, very, very strong army, can't deny it. So what I went with is, I went with 2 battalions. The first battalion, as you can see, I took a Chaplain Venerable Dreadnought, armed with a Twin Link Las Cannon, all the other standard stuff. I then took Iron Father Pharaohs. Then I took an Infiltrator Squad to get that bubble. Another Scout Squad, all with camo cloaks and sniper rifles. I then took a normal Scout Squad armed with bolt guns. And then I took a Devastator Squad with the Grav Bomb, so 4 Grav Cannons. Then I took a Space Marine Sergeant with a Chain Sword and Stormbolter, and then an Armored Cherub. Then also in that detachment, I had the standard Relic Leviathan Dreadnought and a Thunderfire Cannon. And then for my dedicated transport, you can tell that I took a Drop Pod. After that, I took my second battalion is a Chapter Master. Definitely need that for the reroll bubble. Then I took a Librarian. And I took a 1 Intercessor Squad, and the Sergeant had a Chain, Sword, and Hand Flamer, just because I had recently modeled one. I took another standard normal Intercessor Squad, and then I took another Intercessor Squad, and the Sergeant there had a Power Fist, just in case I had to deal with anything. And on the last one, I took an Elite Choice for Redemptor Dreadnought. I was using him, armed with the Onslaught Gatling Cannon and the Onslaught Underslung Gatling Cannon. So just to have a lot of firepower. And then for the finish off the list, I took 2 Impulsors, both had shield domes, and that was kind of my list. So I walked into the hall and got there. It was just being set up, so I decided, it was about 10 a.m. in the morning, so I decided to help set up a little more. And it was a lot of fun, but here's a pic of kind of the hall and what it looked like before all the madness started on day 1. So I walked in and definitely stood in line for the long preview line. It was really, really cool. Just to be able to be in the room as GW unveiled everything was absolutely amazing. I'm sure y'all been to Warhammer community and you've seen all the cool releases of the models, but definitely if you're ever at LVO next year, this is definitely something I really enjoyed and you should really check out. So the check-in line was absolutely crazy. I mean, considering the 40k event was thousands of, 1,000 people, just everyone was there. It was absolutely insane. So this year for LVO, I got the High Roller package. It came with some pretty cool swag. Really like this. Guess y'all can't see it, but it's a nice glass here. Very, very cool. It also came with kind of a mini shot glass, which is really cool. I really like this glass. Definitely use that to make some cocktails or something else, or maybe put a nice old-fashioned or something in there. So that's pretty cool. Also, Creature Caster. They kind of dumped in some paint. I got a silver, which I'm very excited about. I've been wanting to try their silver, so I got one, which is cool. Turbo Dork gave me some cool paints. They gave me some water-based acrylics, some of the color change stuff. Very, very cool. Very excited to try some of this. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for, but hey, it is color shift paint, so very, very cool. Also, kind of a little grab thing. Got this in there as well. I know what I'm doing with this. I am definitely going to give it to my girls because they like this kind of stuff. So very cool. Just got a wide variety of stuff. Got The Bloody Rose by Dane Ware, Series 1. Very cool book. Very excited about reading this. So, can't beat that. Let's see here. Got some other stuff. I'm not a big Warhammer Hordes player, but I did get the Desert Hydra box, which is very cool. Not a player, but I have to look at this model, and this model is actually a very, very cool model. Maybe I'll have to paint it up. I don't know if I could even paint it up and sell it, but maybe just painting it up in general. It is a very cool model. Got some other interesting swag here too as well. Hammerhead Games. Gave me some wound counters and a very cool measuring device. I will definitely have to use both of these. Let's see here. Squad markings. Looks like they gave us a pack of, looks like 32 millimeters. Quite a few in there, it looks like. So very, very cool. Definitely have to use those on some of my models so I can use them for my magnetized bases and other things. So very cool. Look at this. So from TectonicCraftStudios.com, Steam Track 15 millimeter objective. Not sure what it does, but it looks really cool. Maybe I can use it to keep command points or something of that nature. Very, very cool. Let's see what else we got here. From Walnut Dice Coasters. Holds up to 4 dice and your drink. This is definitely going on my paint table, so it can hold my drink. And then from, let's see here, Minotaur Tabletop Gaming. It looks like AR objective markers. These are made for the Rightful Ruler. On all the tables on actually started day one, they actually had all these out, which is very cool. I'm not sure if you've seen that app, but that app is very, very cool. And this is kind of cool to get this set, you know, so I can actually give it a try. Let's see what else we got here. So, I'm not sure who these are from, but it looks like all kinds of cool objective markers. Like little markers and everything. I'm definitely gonna have to use some of these to keep track of, you know, maybe who's got certain buffs, not wounds, but like, you know, that one looks like it's a good warlord one. I could definitely use that. From Badger Airbrush, looks like I got some primer. Easy app surface primer, so water-based acrylic primer. So this is kind of cool. So I may have to give this a try. I do have an airbrush, so that's kind of cool. From Tyrannify, it looks like they 3D printed some stuff. This is actually a very cool display base, so I may want to use that on. I have Gortrek Gurnison, and I don't really want him on the base with all the dead Skaven. So I may use this instead because I kind of want to do my own thing and not have him on a dead Skaven base. Then Las Vegas Open dice, very cool. I got some purple metal dice. Not sure about these and how well they'll roll, but very, very cool there. And I think I got 2 more things in my bag, which is pretty cool. I got some battle foam you can see here. Looks like just some random battle foam. So I'll have to see what I can actually use these for. These are kind of big squares, so I'm not sure what I have that can actually fit in there. And then probably, yes, 2 more items. This is very cool. Each grab bag looked like it got a GW print. And I am very excited because I got this. It's kind of hard to see, but it looks like the Navigator house, which is very cool. I will have to get that framed up. And probably the most exciting thing I got was another Codex Lieutenant Army, but I got a Lieutenant Emilus. And so this model is one model that I've really actually wanted to get, and so I got one in my grab bag. So to be honest with you, very, very cool high roller package. Got a lot of cool swag, a lot of stuff that I can use for my hobby, a lot of markers, some paints to try out, some cups to put in my collection of good cups to use, and just very, very cool. High roller package definitely gives you a lot of stuff to use. So so once again, let's move on and see what happened at the rest of the LVO. Well, guys, LVO is about ready to get started. It's about 9 o'clock, so we got about an hour. Back in the back, people are judging painting. It's really, really cool. Other than that, man, this place is getting really packed. I am very excited. Kind of set my stuff over here with some of the Houston guys. We're kind of, you know, all having a little fun here, checking out some of the lists. But, yep, it's good stuff. Got everyone here going. Yeah. This is going to be the winning list. This is my prediction. This is Colin's list. He's going to win it all. And then the Obsidian Knights are here ready to go. So we'll see how everything goes, man. I'm going to go take some pictures and take some pictures of some of these beautifully painted armies. Maybe get some videos so y'all can check it out. But
so far it's turned out to be a lot of fun.
Here are some of those great looking armies that I was able to get pictures of. There were so many beautiful hobbyists and beautiful armies that were laid out. I started talking to people and doing some other things, but there were some beautiful, beautiful armies there. And congrats to the players who won, who got high rankings and high scores in their army painting. Because I mean, y'all gentlemen out there and ladies do a beautiful job on painting, and I commend y'all. Thanks for putting all that time in there. And just wonderfully, wonderfully painted armies. So, game one. Played a gentleman named Micah. He was piloting some NIDs. He had two detachments. One was Kraken. And in that Kraken one, he had a Broodlord, a Malanthrop, and he also had the Swarm Lord. Then he had for his troops, he had a couple blobs of Gene Stealers, another blob of Hormagaunts. And then for his elite's choice, he had a Haruspex and a Lictor. And then he had some Tyranid Guard. He also had a Tyrannocyte, I guess you could call it, for a dedicated transport. And then he also, for his second detachment, he had Kronos. And in that he had a Flying Hive Tyrant, which was pretty cool, and a Neurothrop. And then he had a couple Ripper Swarms. He had 3 Ripper Swarms and 6 Hive Guard. I had not played NIDS in a while. I was caught very off guard, but luckily, Mike is a great guy. He popped open his Gene Stealers, kind of got in my back lines. I slowly tried to make my way over on the right side of the board to try to help the rest of my army, trying to get that out of the way. And then by turn 2, he had dropped in some other stuff, and the Impaler cannons from his Tyrant Guard were doing what they were supposed to do, and he ended up winning that game, 16-11. Great game, great player. Really enjoyed it, Micah. And then so I ended up losing my first game 16-11. Felt good and tried to move on to game 2. So for game 2, I ended up playing Jason. He had a very, very interesting list. I did not quite know what to make of it. But so for his first battalion, he had Epidemus as an HQ and a Greater Unclean One, which he had a very interesting artifact, which is a Doomsday Bell. And then for troops, he had 3 small squads of Nurglings. And then he had another Outrider detachment, which was an HQ. And for fast attack, for his HQ, he had a Chaos Lord. And his fast attack, he had 3 units of Maleficent Blighthaulers, which are utterly disgusting. And then he had a Spearhead detachment, which was a Chaos Lord, and 3 Plague Burst Crawlers. So, the just behind his list was the fact that this Greater Unclean One could basically sit there and bring back Maleficent Blighthaulers whenever they died. So, I ended up trying to kill those the entire game, trying to kill off some Plague Burst Crawlers. I got 2 of them down first turn, and then I slowly tried to work on the Maleficent Blighthaulers while killing off the Nurglings and everything like that. So, and at the end of the game, we got to round 4, and I ended up actually pulling out a good win. It was a 20-13 victory over Jason's Nurgle, just amazing detachment. Just a very, very good game. I didn't really know what to shoot half the time. It was just the Maleficent Blighthaulers, as he was able to ring the bell and bring them back. I think he killed off like 6th of the game, and by the end of the game he had 9. We did end up running out of time. Just a great game, great opponent. I really do appreciate it, Jason. And it was on to game 3. So game 3, I played Chris, and he was running a wonderful, really, really cool detachment. I thought I was going to get destroyed. So he had a Supreme Command detachment of Flawless Host, and of course he was running triple Lord Discordance. Then after that he had a Spearhead detachment, and this was kind of cool. He had a Sorcerer, and then he had a Hellforge Contemptor, and then he had 3 Hellforge Tadaro Dreadnoughts as well. And then for his last battalion, it was Chaos Undivided, and he had a Poxbringer, Sloppity Bilepiper, and then he had Bloodletters, Nurglings, and Plague Bearers. So, oh my god, where do I want to start on this game? So he got first turn. This is I really think where the game changed. he charged one Lord Discordant up, and he made his charge. But his Warlord, who has an obscene number of attacks, failed warp time. So he didn't quite get up all the way where he needed to. He barely had enough to get in my back lines, and he hit a scout squad. That was it. So turn 2, I was able, my turn, because I went second, I was able to kind of finish off that the 2 Lord Discordants, and then after that we played a really back and forth chess match of me moving, him moving, I'm moving into corners, trying to snipe stuff, and it wasn't until I really pulled this game out on turn 6. It came down to turn 6. I went second to last. Since I went last, I was able to kill more and hold more because I knocked him off some objectives, and I was able to take those objectives. So at the end of the day, it was a 27-25 win. Great game by Chris, and it was just after a very, very long day, and I will talk about that at the end on my complete recap of LVO. So day 2 got off with a bang. I woke up, after the big mishap, and I discovered when I was looking at my score that I was 3-1 to start out day 2. Very amazing considering, I've only played 3 games, so I was 3-1. So when I looked down there at my score sheet, and y'all could definitely see that, I was 3-1 and matched up right under my bud, Colin McDade. So definitely a weird situation. So luckily that my wife sent me this beautiful picture of my girls helping support me, so I felt really, really good going on into day 2. So get to my table for game 4. And I am matched up on a top 100 table, so I get to play on the cool terrain. So I'm playing Thomas, also known as Tom, but so he's got an Iron Hands list. Definitely a much better version of an Iron Hands list than I had for shooting. So he had a Chaplain Dreadnought, another Chaplain Dreadnought, Chapter Master, troops. He had 3 small units of scout squads. Very good. Then he had a Spearhead detachment with a couple lieutenants. And then he had a whole bunch of shooty stuff. So first Spearhead detachment, he had two twin lax cannon Contemptor Mortis Dreadnoughts, and he had 2 of those. And then he had 2 Relic Leviathans with Storm Array cannons. Lots of shooting. And then on top of that, his next Spearhead detachment had a couple more lieutenants. So we were talking lieutenants everywhere, re-rolling ones everywhere, plus 3 Tech Marine gunners. Needless to say, I wound up losing that game. Just didn't really have enough to contend with that army. But he ended up pulling it out. He had a big win. It was a 29-15 win for Tom. So I ended up going into. So I ended up being 2-2 now. But in the BCP app, I was still listed at 3-2. So game 5. Big game. I'm 2-2, trying to see what I can do. Maybe I could try to go 3-3 or 3-2 is what I'm going for. So I play Noah. He's got an Imperial Fist list. Thank you for this. Much to my heart. I love Imperial Fist. Usually I do run my army as Imperial Fist. But, for this one I had to go with something a little stronger with Iron Hands. He had a very interesting list. He had a Chaplain Venerable Dreadnought, a Primaris Chapter Master, a Tech Marine. He had 2 large Intercessor squads, all armed with Stalker bolt rifles. He had another Intercessor squad with Stalker bolt rifles, another Intercessor squad with Stalker bolt rifles, and another Intercessor squad. Really going for it. Then he had, in his elite choice, he had 2 Invictor tactical war suits and a Primaris Ancient. Fast attack bike, 2 suppressor squads, and in his heavy support, he had 2 Whirlwinds, Centurion Devastator Squad, and a Thunderfire Cannon. He was definitely running a brigade. Tons of CP. So, he deployed, if you look from the pictures, he deployed in that back building. We are on a top 100 table. Deployed back at that building and just completely to utterly devastate me the entire game. I slowly pushed up. My Chaplain Dreadnought, my Leviathan, and all my command units were right there. All my HQ units were walking up behind there. I finally got over there on turn 6. After a turn 5 assault, I managed to kill off a couple squads, kind of dwindle them down a little bit. And then I proceeded to jump my my chapter master with his jump pack over everything, landed beside his whirlwind, outside an inch, charged in, slayed his warlord, and ended up doing like a 5 or 6 point swing at the end of the game to get a 20-27 draw. A couple things that me and Noah talked about at the end of the game is I made a very boo-boo at the very beginning of the game when I dropped my drop pod in. Wasn't thinking about something. Everything in there died. And then after that, I also made an error. He made an error too at the end of the game by actually for like turns 3 through 6 is his whirlwinds and stuff were trying to kill my Leviathan, which didn't die until turn 6, instead of shooting some of my squads on the objectives. So I was holding more almost the entire game, and he was just killing more the entire game. So it ended up being a 20-27 draw. So after this, I am now 2-2-1. I've never actually drew a game, so I was very excited. Thank you, Noah, for the great game, and it's on to game 6. Oh, and by the way, BCP still had me listed at 3-2, and now I'm 3-2-1. So game 6, same thing happens. Guess who ends up on a top 100 table again? Game 6, on another top 100 table, and I'm playing Mr. Mark. I recognized his jersey. He was on Smite Club, and I know those guys are great players. I know they usually play on the west coast of things in Arizona as well as California. So I knew I was up against a very good player, especially I noticed his teammate right across the table, Mr. Don Houston, and I realized that this is the game where I think I'm way out of my league because Mark is a very good player, and I can tell by his list, and we're about to go over that right now. So, first is a spearhead attachment with Trajan Valoris. He's got a Velexus Praetor with a Storm Shield and the -1 to hit, and then he's got 3 Calidus Grav tanks. I know the meta changed, but those vehicles are absolutely still amazing at killing Space Marines. And then he had a battalion, and he was running Catachin, so he had, and also the Villages Emperor's Tank Company, blah, 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 blah. He had a company commander and then a tank commander. He had 3 infantry squads, an astropath, and then he also had a wyvern. I think on one of these he had the relic or whatever that allows, I think, you to make me spend more command points if he rolls over a certain die, which was very, very good. And then for his last, he had a super auxiliary heavy detachment, and he had a Knight Crusader. Just like always, it is Tyrannus, which allows him to get up, and that's definitely what he did. So, Game 6 got off to with a bang. Of course, I didn't kill anything. I was playing kind of out of my league. I thought I should kill the knight first turn. Made that mistake of trying to do that. Didn't kill the knight. I had to kill it turn 2. Then it got back up on turn 3. That over put me behind. And then his Calidus Grav tanks just kind of swiveled around the board and just proceeded to kill off everything. It was very. I was having a very hard time with this game. Mark was not, very easily having good target priority and just kind of completely destroying everything. And the best thing was, in one of these pictures you will see my Smash Captain surrounded by 3 of the tanks, also with Trajan. This was turn 5. I decided to go for it all, went in for assault. He shot everything at me. I used transhuman physiology, and my Smash Captain proceeded to live all the way until the end of the assault phase when Trajan decided, I am tired of this guy, attacked again, and killed him. The best part of the game was the game went out just like my LVO did, with a bang. He proceeded to blow up my Leviathan Dreadnought. It exploded on a 6. Proceeded to kill a Calidus Grav tank. It blew up on a 6. And everything in the middle of the board completely died at the end of the game. Great way to finish it. I enjoyed it. Thanks for the great game, Mark. And so that is the end of Game 6. And I ended up being 2, 3, and 1. But guess what? If you see me in BCP, I'm 3, 3, and 1. Definitely, I even got to play in the Shadow Round, apparently in between day 1 and day 2. So here's the final recap. At the end, I managed to finished 241st because I played 7 games. I managed to get an extra 32-point win in there, which I have no clue why I played. I feel sorry for the guy I played against because that doesn't sound like a very fun game. But other than that, I did manage to go 2-3-1. Overall, I feel like this is kind of my best performance I've had at the LVO. A couple years ago when 8th first came out, I did go 3-3. Last year I went 2-4, only winning my last 2 games. But this year I do feel like, because of kind of the blunder with BCP and basically them giving me an extra win and me end up playing on the top 100 tables on the last 3 games, I do feel like that I did overall. I played better with the rules. I knew what stratagems to use. I knew how to more position my models. And I think my game 3 and my game 5, which was game 3, I did have a win. In game 5, I did have the draw. I ended up playing the missions a lot better than I previously had done. Playing with some of my team down here, the FNP Pro team down here, playing with those guys definitely helped. And this is really, I guess, for next year, this is kind of the start of my new season to where I feel like I'm going to try to play a little bit more competitively with more competitive lists. And thanks to Colin McDade, he did help me with my list, and I appreciate that. He winded up finished 17th in overall ITC standings, which is awesome. And so I do appreciate him helping out with my list and the other guys on the team for giving me practice games and other things, and telling me to stop being such a fluff bunny and just go ahead and play a hard list. It's okay. Everyone at the tournament's playing hard lists and good lists. I should be playing too. But this list, I did keep a little bit of fluffiness, so I did enjoy it. So, on to day 3, all the top tournament games, and I took a walk around the vendor hall. So here's all that good stuff for you guys and gals. So day 4 was very cool. I got to walk around, checked out the 30k event they had going on. Also checked out the 40k friendly. Stopped downstairs to see night jousting going on. Very, very cool. And then I proceeded to take a look up at, had some friends playing in the Shadespire tournament. Very cool. They seem to be doing well. Also popped my head over to look at Kill Team. Kill Team looked amazing. Very, very fun. Great stuff going on. And then I proceeded to make my way down and check out the RTT that was going on. So, a lot of the people that had played the previous day kind of moved on to the RTT. And then, of course, I had to do the fanboying as much as I could. So I went to check out what was going on in the quarterfinals. Watched Naden play pool for a little while. That was a very interesting game. Also checked out the other quarterfinal tables where Siegler was playing, Lennon was playing. Congrats out to Boris out there making the top table from the UK. Very, very cool. Just really cool to see all that going on. And then I proceeded to take a look at the quarterfinals, There's Peter with Lennon playing, and also there's Siegler and Naden on the top tables right before the finals. So then after that, I proceeded to walk kind of over and check out the vendor halls. A lot of great stuff going on. Pop Goes the Monkey was there. GW was there. Battle Foam was there. Badger Airbrush Company was there. Checked out these guys that are coming up right here. Every Little War. They had some really cool MDF printed stuff that I may want to take a look at. And then, of course, I had to see my boy Walker, who runs Arena Rex. If you have not looked at these models or picked up any of these models or done anything, just go to arenarex.com. Head over there, look at the models. It's a gladiator game. It's very short, takes 30 to 40 minutes to play a game. You're basically killing each other in a gladiator arena. What could be better than that? So if you haven't checked it out, please go check out Arena Rex for my buddy Walker. And that was kind of what I did for day 4. Well, watched the final table. Got to see Siegler and pull it out to become the overall champion of LVO. Great job. Congrats to a couple of my teammates, Eric Tat, as well as George. I'm not going to try to butcher your last name, but they both took top places for Slanesh as well as Gene Stealer Colts at the event. congrats to them. Congrats to a lot of the other guys that in the Houston area, as well as the Dallas area and the San Antonio area and Austin area. All the Texas boys, they came out to play and did a really great job this entire season. It was great to see y'all play. It was great for everything. And I just wanted to talk about some of my other stuff, and just kind of give you a brief overview of what I really thought about LVO. LVO is always a great experience. It's what you can make of the experience. I always have a joy. I go around talking to people, meet new people, talk to people I met before, people I played the year before, just finding people that I've never met before and just talking to them, even some of the big name people out there. I spoke of a conversation with Brandon Grant and a couple of the other guys. Just everyone is really nice, and that's the best thing about this 40K hobby. So if you don't do that while you're at one of these events, you're missing out on a whole bunch. Some stuff went wrong. BCP crashed. The judges did an amazing job of trying to get everything back up and running and get Gaming 2 back started, as well as Game 3. So appreciate those guys. They really make it happen. Appreciate the staff at Frontline Gaming. They did a phenomenal job pulling off one of the largest, I think, conventions, especially for gaming, that I've ever been to. I mean, just when you consider everything is tabletop gaming, they had huge rooms, upstairs, just everywhere, just amazing games going on. I'm sure if you talk to anyone, they had a blast. Thanks to Reese, came up and talked to me at the end of Game 3, apologizing. Told him not his fault. Just really loved and enjoyed the whole experience always that I have at LVO. Can't wait to go back next year, and this is going to be a very fun year for me. I'm going to try to get in some GTs and majors in. Hopefully I can get about 5 or 6 of those GTs and majors in, and so next time I go back to LVO, I will have at least the max number of games I can have on my record, and I can do even better next year and have more fun. And that's what this game's all about. I can't wait to paint up new models. Can't wait to do any of this stuff. It's really amazing. Thanks to everyone for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll be back with some more videos and kind of tracking my progress along how I'm going to do this season. I really want to try to have a winning record in GTs and majors by the end of the year. That's my goal overall. Just don't want to lose anymore, but I also want to have fun doing it and getting good hobby scores. So that's my goal this year, is to have a overall winning record, do well on the hobby track, and most of all, make some new friends and some new hobbyists, and just get to meet a whole bunch of new people this year. So once again, thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe and leave some comments down there and tell me if y'all had a great time at LVO, because I did. No matter what happened, still had a blast. And so thanks a lot.